So I was having a conversation earlier today with my girlfriend's mother, Melanie, and as we were talking, just random conversation, we were talking about things we were afraid of and how to break fears and when our brain gets in ruts and stuff. But one of the things that I talk about a lot, just to myself or to other people, oh, that sounds really bad, I talk to myself, but I'm okay, I promise. But one of the things I talk about a lot of is what we're really afraid of. And, you can be afraid of skydiving, roller coasters, heights, cats, whatever. And before I've had back problems for years. And during those 2 years, I really kind of went through a lot of reprogramming, I guess you would call it. Because as I'm going through it, I really kind of had a better understanding of timing, God's timing on things. For example, when we were getting ready for my surgery, there's all sorts of chances, especially with working with the lower back, especially around the spinal cord, is you could be a paraplegic for the rest of life. You may not even wake up from surgery. Just all sorts of horrible, scary scenarios. Granted, the ability for these things happening is really low, but it's still there. And as I was thinking about it, I don't really worry about things happening anymore as much. Maybe little situations like, I wanted to do something and it just didn't work out. But I'm talking bigger things. Like, I went on vacation with my family, and we went and rode a bunch of roller coasters, and I used to be really afraid of roller coasters when I was younger. We went to Disneyland, we went to Knott's Berry Farm, and I rode just about everything within reason without blowing my back out or something. And what it came down to, even upside-down roller coasters, which I'm afraid of, but what it came down to was, I wasn't afraid of them anymore. I wasn't worried about them anymore. Because if anything happens while I'm on the roller coaster, while I'm driving, while I'm walking down the street, it's going to happen because God wanted it to happen, because God's in charge of things. Now that thought about fear led me to kind of thinking one step further. Because God is in control of all things, because of His sovereignty and knowing all things, when we as human beings, when we talk from our perspective within time, and we say things about fate, destiny, how things are going to be, do we really kind of put God in a box, always being afraid of this kind of stuff? Thinking that we can't do something, thinking that something's impossible. Nothing is ever going to be impossible with God. In fact, the Bible says, all things are possible through God. And of course, I'm paraphrasing a lot, but, with God, all things are possible. And the more I thought about that, the more I realized, do we really think about what we say? I mean, I'm not saying for the rest of your life you should be sitting there going, okay, before I say this sentence, should I make sure I say it because it might make it sound like I don't believe God is sovereign or something. Nothing like that. But if you really take a minute and kind of look at how we view and think of God being, sometimes our actions, what we say, really kind of puts what God is in a box. And I know for me that it's not a huge, absolute conviction. It's a personal thing. And I wouldn't say it's, oh my gosh, I have to change this. But it's just something that I never really thought of before. And, I mean, with a lot of things that we say, we have to be careful how we explain things to even other people. Whether we're witnessing or talking to another Christian, we need to be making sure that we say what the Bible says. We talk about how the Bible says. And so when we say something like, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that, and not really focusing on the absolute fear, which is the fear and reverence of God. Now, I'm not saying you should never be afraid of anything. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But really kind of consider why that fear is there in the first place. We shouldn't have to fear going outside. We shouldn't have to fear driving a car. We shouldn't have to fear going shopping. And if you really for me at least, I came to an understanding of, because God's in control of all things, if something is going to happen to me, it's going to happen. If it's my time to die, it's my time to die. Now, I'm not saying I should go jumping in front of bullets to see if it's going to kill me. But I also shouldn't be afraid to try things or new things because I'm afraid of what might happen to me. Just something to consider. Anyways, this is the first of the many random thoughts that I hope to post as they go on. I'll just start posting random thoughts of whatever pops into my head. Thanks.